You are listening to the New American Media.
Live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be very specific. Hello and welcome to Agree to Disagree here on the New American Media. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Brian Engelman, and I'm going to be your host. Today, take a guess. Take a guess what we're going to be talking about today. Just off the top of your head, you think anything is going on in the world of politics that's interesting? Anything at all? Oh, let's see. Maybe immigration, all of those, like 11 million people to add to the Obamacare rolls. Maybe we could do that. I don't know. That's an okay story. What else we got? I don't know. The Dow hit 15,000 and we're supposed to dance for joy out in the streets. Maybe we could do that. Yeah, that dancing for joy Dow Jones thing. We could do that. Although if you think about it, the Dow Jones is kind of like it's really just a snapshot of the top companies in the stock market. And if what Occupy Wall Street was talking about is, quasi-accurate or at least partially accurate, more wealth has consolidated in the top 0.1% than ever before, as far back as we could track. So if you see the Dow doing well, does that mean that they've squeezed out the little guys now? And that the best of the best, the biggest and the baddest boys on Wall Street are... I don't know, maybe we could that gets a little complicated. I like having financial guests for that type of stuff. What else? I got an idea. Got an idea what we can talk about. How about we talk about the I.R.S. targeting Americans as enemies? Ooh, that sounds good. Hey, how about we talk about Benghazi and the fact that that story never added up? Don't worry, though. That vile filmmaker is in jail. Even though, we have unfettered... freedom of the press and freedom of speech, but he made an offensive video, so he's in jail. Remember, he got the perp walk out in California, he got arrested. But there's an unfettered First Amendment in this country, and the president strongly supports the First Amendment. Wait, except if you're the Associated Press. And then you can have your phones tapped. Well, they weren't tapped. They were just, they didn't tap that. They just kind of tippy-tapped it, or... I don't even know. I don't want to ramble too much. I want to bring in Blake, the eccentric Walley. He's our regular guest and / co-host. I join him on his radio program. He's over on freedomizerradio.com every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific, and he's on Twitter at eccentric99. Yeah, we'll just bring him in because it's time to get into these stories. Why do you care? Why do you even care about this stuff? I'm going to get right into it. But first, please do us a favor. We're nearing 90,000 video views. Just had our 2-year anniversary. This is a slow burn. We've been working the kinks out as we go. The site has been hacked. We've had staffing and personnel changes, and life changes, everything. Look, life happens. But we've been going for 2 years straight, so we want to thank everybody who's been a part of the New American Media. Because we're just getting warmed up. We're not kidding around. We are just getting warmed up. So thank you. Please follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/The New American Media. Go on Facebook and search The New American Media and like our page, please. And stay connected with us. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. So without any further ado, let's talk about this stuff. Why does it matter? Yeah, I.R.S., aren't they administering the enforcement mechanism behind Obamacare? Oh, this is going to be spectacular once implemented. But hey, can't wait to pass it to find out what's in it, says Nancy Pelosi about Obamacare. So let's bring in Blake, and we'll dissect these piece by disgusting piece. Could any of them topple an administration? Yeah. Everyone's saying the I.R.S. thing is more likely to topple this administration than the others, but... Here we go. Let's get Blake. Because he's been covering this stuff all week, and he's been flabbergasted. I like that word. Hey, thanks, Blake. Appreciate that. See, that's the beauty of live radio. When you have an engineer and a producer Yeah, well, maybe you can do all this stuff in the in the soundproof room, but when you're out here, we do it live. Hey, guerrilla journalism, guerrilla radio. We need more of this. All right, he's there somewhere. I can't hear him.
All right.
Where's he at?
I can hear you now.
Nah, you're crackling, bro. Say something else.
Okay. I am saying something else.
Nope, gotta try again. Okay, we're gonna try him one more time. Funny how funny things happen. Funny connection issues when you try to do important radio shows. It's happened to me multiple times. Oh, it's not like the federal government would spy on you.
Hello.
Hey, now you sound spectacular. I was just saying that, funny things tend to happen on our radio connection when we tend to discuss important issues. And I said, well, it's not like the government would ever spy on you or mess with you, right? That would just be criminal and illegal, right?
All right. It would never happen. We can trust our government, can't we?
Yeah, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah, who cares about the big NSA base they're building in Utah?
NSA,
Sure,
what is that?
to worry about.
You mean the space shuttles?
Yeah, yes, Brian, the space shuttle.
No, tell our as of yet unenlightened listeners about the NSA.
I don't know. They're lovely people. They're monitoring everybody to keep us safe from terrorists, I think.
Terrorists. Now, didn't they say the Tea Party types and people that talk about the Constitution are terrorists, right? And returning war veterans?
Yeah, it could be loosely defined as any dissidents that may question anybody.
Now, that report came out from Janet Napolitano saying that if you talk about patriots or Tea Party or 9/12 or the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, you might be a potential terrorist, right? Janet Napolitano, she did that Homeland Security briefing, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Now
people that disagree with Janet Napolitano, right?
Now, isn't that exactly what the I.R.S. was doing? They said, well, if you happen to have a certain particular viewpoint, we're going to punish you.
That's what it looks like it's shaping up to be, certainly. Yeah, definitely scandal going absolutely crazy right now.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to split it up into three pieces because it's a lot of stuff. By the way, this Eric Holder thing where he's I got these clips up here. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to play. Obviously, I'm going to play this I.R.S. chief. We're going to start with the I.R.S. because a lot of people are saying this is the one that could actually topple the administration for 100 different reasons. And it really speaks to the fact that the government is waging war. I am saying it, that the government is waging war. When you are financially penalizing and you're trying to get inside people's lives and ruin them and bankrupt them, you know what? You're engaging in warfare. That's it. There's no soft way to say this. Elements within our federal government are waging war with the American people. So I'm going to play this one in a second, but I was wondering, this one with Eric Holder that you set up for me, the I don't know, is that in regard to the I.R.S. or Benghazi or Associated Press at this point? I'm losing track, Blake.
I believe that one is of the AP. I'm going to have to. I don't think I have that one pulled up.
Okay, well, I have that one ready, so we can play that in a second. Let's just. I want to set this up here. This is the I.R.S. acting commissioner Stephen Miller. He stepped down a couple of weeks in advance, right? That's the story now. He stepped down.
Well, yes. Yes, they're looking for heads to roll. Somebody's got to pay for this, blah, blah, blah. And so who does Obama go after? Of course, the commissioner. But there's a couple of problems with that. Number one, I don't believe he's actually been the sitting commissioner for very long, so he wasn't really around at the beginning of these scandals when they first started. But number two, and most importantly, yes, he's, stepping down, resigning, or whatever, but the reality was he was already going to step down or resign or what have you, in 2 or 3 weeks. So he was already scheduled to leave early June. So, I mean, isn't that the scapegoat, the fall guy? Isn't that the easiest person to throw under the bus? I'd be like, blaming an employee or job or something, but they were, had nothing, whether they had something to do with it or not, but they're going to retire or quit in a couple of weeks. It's like, oh, okay. Then you act in front of the American people and act like you did something. No, not really. So, anyway.
I don't know. It just reminded me of a song lyric by Incubus, Megalomaniac. Hey, Megalomaniac, you're no Jesus. Yeah, you're no freaking Elvis. Wash your hands clean of yourself, baby. Maniac, step down. Step down. You know, the whole view from this administration and the people in power, whether it's Eric Holder running Fast and Furious and telling people they need to brainwash them against guns, and Janet Napolitano talking about patriots as being terrorists, and seeing the I.R.S. going to attack those that are of a different political persuasion. There is a megalomaniacal. Isn't there a KMFDM song, speaking of Incubus? Megalomaniacal. Okay, see, I had to enunciate the wrong syllable there, and that's where it threw me off. But
right.
but that's what's going on. It almost. I heard Hugh Hewitt, and this is a great radio host. If you've never found him, you got to search him out. This guy is a genius. He's brilliant, and he's a Cleveland sports fan, so I like him. But anyway, he was saying that the federal government now in Washington D.C. it's resembling Versailles. It's resembling an aristocracy where they're above the law, and the people are starting to. Well, I'm just going to comma ... that one. I'm not going to finish the sentence, but. It really seems like these people in Washington, they feel they're above the law, but they're our employees. You know, I mean, Blake.
Right. And it's kind of a shady connection, first of all. The I.R.S. is kind of a private institution that kind of gets lumped in with the government, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the government. It just collects taxes for the Federal Reserve, which is not really part of us either. It's as federal as Federal Express, as they say. So,
now,
you've got the
enforcement. Go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
No. Yeah, so you got the enforcement wing of a somewhat unconstitutional private entity that controls our money supply is now harassing political groups, and they're going to be in charge of our health care. In the next year or so, they're going to be the enforcement wing for that, and they're universally hated. And it's kind of a it's a good time for a scandal to unravel, because maybe we can find a way out of this nightmare before this escalates any further. What other kind of power can we give them? So, obviously, what this one does is it shows that not only do people not like the I.R.S., but now you have legitimate proof that you can't trust them.
Hey, megalomaniac, step down, step down, step down. Federal Reserve and the I.R.S., weren't those both started in 1913?
Correct, but I don't know exactly what role the I.R.S. had right away.
Well, I think it was passed. Yeah. I think it was passed that you could bully and strong-arm your political opponents into submission.
Yes, well, it's certainly been turned into that. I believe Nixon was doing that. I've heard rumors that the Clintons like to do that. I don't know if there was ever any proof of that, but now it's starting to look like Obama might be implicated in that. But of course, we're still gathering information. It's just it's really been difficult to get questions answered by this administration.
Really?
Especially. Yes.
Okay, let's take it from there.
Talk about. Roll the tape on Holder. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here let's do a couple of them. Here's the former I.R.S. chief.
George, because my time is you're not going to cooperate with me, Mr. Miller, and you've been uncooperative during this
former I.R.S. chief.
Mr. George, we've heard that an early draft of your report indicates that you were unable to determine who initially directed the I.R.S. employees to target groups based on their political beliefs. Is that true?
That we were unable to, correct?
Yes. Mr. Miller, you're the commissioner. Who is responsible? You conducted the investigation. Who was responsible?
I don't have that name, sir. I tell you.
Why don't you have the name?
That I was originally.
Have you asked anybody?
Yes, I asked.
Who did you ask?
I asked.
You don't have that name either.
I'll be glad to provide those names.
Let him answer the question.
Mr. Levin, it's my time.
Washington State's time.
Who did you ask?
I asked the senior technical advisor,
And what's the senior technical advisor's name?
Nancy Marks.
And what did Nancy tell you? Who's responsible?
That I don't remember, to be honest with you.
You don't remember again.
All right. Time has expired. The committee will, there are votes on the floor of the House of
Time
Representatives.
has expired.
The committee will recess for 15 minutes.
Saved by the bell.
Loved that show growing up. Who was your favorite? Did you like Jesse or did you like Kelly? Or Turtle?
Definitely more of the Kelly, I suppose.
Yeah.
if we're talking about that. The other one was she seemed like she was too tall for me. So, you know.
We clearly digress. You know what I just heard there? Let's talk. What about Lisa Turtle? I don't know. Well, anyway, but yeah, moving on.
Yeah, she was cute. Whatever.
Yeah, they were all cute. Good times. But
so if it was Mary F. and Kill, who would? Okay, never mind. We're getting sidetracked.
Yeah. So
Right.
just a little bit. But you know what this reminded me of? It's like, we're on recess. It reminded me of like when a team's up by a few points and they're trying to run out the clock. You know, like the evasion. By the way, the Eric Holder, I don't know that we're going to play in a second here. That's regarding the Department of Justice leaks. So we'll save that for another second. But, I mean, this I.R.S. story, Blake, how deep is this going to get? Let me just get down to it right now. How potentially damning could this be for the administration? Could it topple the presidency?
Absolutely. If they can actually link... if they can find that Obama is himself like responsible in some way, if he's having little meetings together and they're kind of, laying out their agenda and talking about how they're going to secure the next election and how they're going to, battle their opponents and, shape the narratives and all that kind of stuff. If they find that he's had something to do with it, then yeah, it'll be, massive criminal charges, impeachment. Yeah, it would be a huge deal. It would completely sink the administration.
Yeah, and it's really an overt act of. I mean, am I going too far by calling this an act of war? To financially cripple people that oppose you politically?
It's not too far off. In some ways, it could kind of be conceived as that. I mean, that's a pretty scary thing for a lot of these people, and I mean, I'm seeing some of these little horror stories and such, and people have had their careers, and yeah, it's really a chilling effect, as they say.
Yes, the chilling effect.
Free speech, yeah, people that are outspoken, people that have like quit writing. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's going on with that.
Free speech. Well, this has been going on for 3 years. And according to this Fox News story over here, they're saying there's about 3 prime areas where possible criminal violations could be investigated. Whether the I.R.S. lied by concealing the program, whether it broke the law with its targeting of conservative groups, and whether it leaked confidential information. Talk about that for a second, because it wasn't just bothering people you don't like. It was also feeding all of the personal information and really invasive personal questions, and then they turn it over to the opposition, a far-left publication. I mean, this is just, it's insane, Blake.
Yeah, they're asking for people's, you want to go through all your Facebook stuff and see who you're talking to, going through, like overly, they're going into some information they're not supposed to even normally be collecting, and collecting on, people's, for there are other people that are, donating or whatever. I mean, you got to have some scrutiny, I suppose, if you want to, call yourself tax exempt, but they went well above and beyond any of that. And it's, clearly targeting, Tea Party, Patriot type of groups. It's not a coincidence, no matter how much they want to try to get us to believe that. I mean, this thing is totally, hemorrhaging out in front of us. So I don't know how they're going to contain this. They're in a lot of trouble. And certainly that guy, and I already forgot his name already, the former commissioner, the recently Stephen Miller, is really, I don't know. He could be looking at, can we prove any kind of perjury? I don't even know. I mean, some of the ways he's just dodging questions, and you heard that audio clip, he's obviously not there to comply and give all the answers, and he's playing stupid, basically, and that's even more insulting. And I don't know if he's under oath or what, but, yeah, this isn't looking good. And it's frustrating, too, when we can't get answers out of this administration on any of these issues yet. We still haven't found out where it goes to, but, a lot of people think the roads are leading up to, Obama himself or Holder or, top levels of the administration, and they're just desperately trying to, save themselves, or I don't know, they can just stonewall for how long before this is going to catch up to them. And what are we going to do, start forcing these people to answer questions? I don't know. But then we're going to roll that clip with Holder here in a minute. And
the Holder clip is great.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're basically getting, if you watch him or you watch Jay Carney, you can pretty much sum up what you're going to get out of some of these people. But they can't run and hide forever.
You know what I saw in the I.R.S. thing earlier today? I saw Charlie Rangel up on his high horse talking about this being despicable. Now, when you can get Charlie Rangel up on the high horse, especially against when a Democrat's in charge, okay, and
Obama, yeah,
the dam is breaking on this when you got Charlie Rangel switching sides. I mean, you look over here, JS Online, Milwaukee, Wisconsin Journal Sentinel. This is from yesterday. It says Madison. Texas Tea Party group is saying that the Internal Revenue Service questions its leaders about whether they participated in verifying recall signatures in Wisconsin last year. They're trying to get into every detail of your life, and I've been long screaming from the rooftops, from the microphone in the studio, to just kind of get people to wake up to the Fourth Amendment against illegal search and seizure. It is very easy to be tracked and traced these days with all the digital means that are out there. And when you start thinking about it, it is very creepy when you start turning over everybody's pieces of information to a centralized government, and then they can identify who they like and who they don't like. And speaking of identify who they like and don't like, this is something I've been saying for 4 years when Obamacare, or however long ago Obamacare was tossed out there as an option. In the wrong hands, if the federal government controls 1/6 of our entire economy and they run the entire healthcare system, they could triage, to use a medical term, they could prioritize their friends and kick their enemies down the waiting list for a kidney or a surgery. Anything. Any single... Oh, that's crazy. You're saying Obama wants to kill people. No. I'm saying that you could prioritize your friends once you've gathered all their data and you know where they're at on Facebook and you know what they're sending out on Twitter. Are you pro this administration or anti this administration? I'm talking whether it's Cheney, Bush, and Rumsfeld on the Republicans or Jay Carney, Asada, and Barack Obama and these guys over here, Eric Holder and Janet Napolitano on the left. It's dangerous. Can you talk a little bit about Sarah Hill? Sarah Hill Ingram.
Ingram?
Yes.
She is getting the promotion, I believe. Let me see if I can find her. There's an article today out of ABC News. And that would be the Internal Revenue Service official in charge of the tax-exempt organizations at the time when the unit targeted Tea Party groups now runs the I.R.S. office responsible for the health care legislation. Now, Brian, if this was a movie about, like, conspiracy theory, but it was just a movie, right? So people just went and watched it. I mean, that just has, you can just already see the scripting of, like, here, let's see if this lady will do the dirty work that we want her to do and help target these groups, and then we're going to reward her by giving her this massive promotion. So that's what it looks like to me. But obviously they're going to have to let all the they're going to start interviewing these or subpoena or what have you, but getting to the bottom of this so we can figure out exactly what happened. And no, not like Jay Carney where he's going to he'll say that for the next 5 years. Hey, we had any developments in the end of these stories? And like I said, we're still conducting an investigation, and I don't think it's very wise of us to start releasing info until we have all the facts. And that's basically what they do. But anyways, Sarah Hall Ingram served as commissioner of the office responsible for tax-exempt organizations between 2009 and 2012. But Ingram has since left that part of the IRS and is now the director of the IRS's Affordable Care Act office, the IRS confirmed to ABC News Today. So, this is really the organization that we want running or getting involved in our health care. I mean, you were talking about kind of the intrusive stuff, and, I'm not a religious guy or a big into the whole pro-life movement, but I'm just pulling up the headline story on Drudge right now. Is IRS was asking pro-life group about the content of their prayers. And I mean, regardless of how you feel about
unbelievable, Blake. I want to flip my desk right now.
Abortion or religion, yeah. I mean, that's just. But that's the kind of things that they can get away with, I guess. But now that this investigation's falling apart, now everybody's coming out of the woodwork to say, "Hey, I was targeted too. I thought it was just me." And it's scary, it's chilling, and yeah. So this, I don't know if it's the tip of the iceberg or not, but more details keep just flying in. This scandal's only been open about a week now.
Yeah, and I mean, to get into everybody's First Amendment right to, they're targeting Christian groups, they're targeting Jewish groups, they're targeting Baptists specifically. You look down it's like the only people that get cover from this administration and that they bend over backwards to make happy are anyone practicing Islam, anybody of Muslim faith, anybody of Muslim background. If you're of Muslim background, you get special exemptions. You get catered to. And if you are anything but Muslim, ABM, if you are ABM, they're going after everybody on this stuff. They jailed that idiot that made that stupid anti-Islamic video. Oh no! It was completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. Perfect scapegoat, I suppose. It's just insane that the returning war veterans are potential terrorists. You're going to turn on returning war veterans? How in the hell do you turn on returning war veterans, the heroes of this country? That's what this administration chooses to do. It's really I say it all the time, like I'm living inside of a cuckoo clock, Blake. I really can't believe it, but. Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing enough of this. What are some of the other crazy questions they've?
Well, it sounds like something that a foreign occupying dictator would do. Like if we got invaded by an alien race that was, I guess, superior to us technologically, and then they would want to target all of the veterans because they're the only ones that have they're the ones that have the base of know how to fight back and have a lot of weaponry and the tactical knowledge to perhaps take things back and say no to the occupying force, which might as well be how this Obama administration feels, and to be fair, also Bush Cheney to some extent. But it's getting pretty bad. It's hyper accelerating. But now these scandals have broken over the last couple weeks, and now I have hope that because it was just a few months ago, and we were just like, I can't believe that the Department of Homeland Security is buying 2 billion rounds of ammunition, and nobody's saying anything. But
it's not like they would target anybody. It's not like come on. It's not like Department of Homeland Security would actually target somebody literally like the IRS is targeting people to ruin and that's what happens, man. You go after people's finances. That's usually the number one problem in marriages and relationships is finances. You want to go after people and bring the full weight of the federal government on you and start sniffing around your entire life and just bugging you. Yeah, that ruins lives. That leads to suicides. That leads to broken marriages. That's really what's that scene that they say in Pulp Fiction? Oh, man, somebody keyed my car. Somebody keyed your car? Oh, man. Oh, I'm not going to phrase it exactly, but
It would be worth it if I could just find or if I would have found him doing it. I don't remember. I don't
it would
actually
have
know where
almost
you're going.
been worth him doing it just so I could have caught him doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is chicken S. You never mess with another man's automobile or vehicle. Yeah, man. I'm not going to quote it because it's every other word's a cuss word. Thank you, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but there's nothing more chicken S than going after people like this and hiding behind your Marine's umbrella. Did you see that one yesterday? Oh my God.
I did.
I felt dirty watching that. Like he claps his hands. Excuse me, Marine. Excuse me. I'm getting a little misty over here. Could you, Marine? And then he holds an umbrella over his head. It's just arrogant, pompous, out of touch, aristocrat, elite.
Drunk with power.
With power. That is a good way to phrase it. And let's pause it with that because there's not just one story breaking right now. There's not just one story. It's not just the I.R.S. And we're going to get a lot of good details. And I really want, if you guys haven't had the chance, go look around. Do a little bit of searching online. Don't ever listen to what we're saying. Go do your own research and look at some of the questions that they were being asked. I think maybe next show we should itemize a ton of specific ones. Because when you realize how in-depth and intrusive and creepy this is, how Fourth Amendment violating, First Amendment chilling, drunk with power this is, oh man, this stuff just gets worse and worse. So, what do we want to do when we come back? I got a couple videos here. I got Mike Kelly. This one will be good. Mike Kelly talking. Well, you know what? Here, let's play a little bit of Mike Kelly.
It's a little longer, but it's got a good ending. It shows you what the people are thinking.
You want me to? Where do you want me to cue it up? You want to do the whole thing, half the thing, just the end of the thing?
You might as well just let the whole thing rip. This one just broke. I found the clip off of InfoWars. It's Representative Mike Kelly rips I.R.S. chief a new one and gets a standing ovation from the gallery. So it is. This will just show you what the I.R.S. chief and the congressman interrogating him, if you want to call it that. And it was well deserved. And they're just sitting there stonewalling. So you know what? Why don't I'll shut up if you want to play that, and we can discuss afterwards.
Can I ask, why did it take so long from the first time we knew that this was happening to got the report done? The president said just the other day, I think it was yesterday, that he just got a look at the report, and that's the first time he knew anything about it.
Well, first,
other than reading it in the papers, I guess.
Are you asking how?
Yeah. So, have you ever seen that magnitude before? Anything
no,
of this magnitude?
No.
It's never come up before.
No, it has not.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Now, you've been on the job for quite some years, but the current job you're in is from November 9th, 2012. So, is that right? So you just took over as acting commissioner.
In November of 12. Yes, I have both jobs.
All right. But before that, one of your jobs, you were the Commissioner of Tax-Exempt and Government Entities Division. So you actually were in the job that we're questioning now, that group of what was happening there. So would you have been in Cincinnati?
No.
You were never in Cincinnati?
No.
So is Cincinnati some outpost?
So obviously the I.R.S. is a nationwide organization.
Oh, I know. I understand that.
I understand that.
And I want to tell you, listen, believe me, if you think it's uncomfortable sitting over there, you ought to be a private individual when the I.R.S. is across from you questioning. So I got to tell you, it's uncomfortable for everybody. But my question more specifically is, so how did Cincinnati get to where they are? How did they develop?
Let me just. I love that one. That was good. He was waiting to use that one,
right.
Blake. Oh, that was a good line, too. Oh, you think that was uncomfortable? Let me tell you about uncomfortable, pal. This is Representative Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania. But anyway, that was a good line. Here, let me just reset it. That was pretty cool. And we'll keep going.
So obviously the I.R.S. is a nationwide organization.
Oh, I know. I understand that. I understand that. And I want to tell you, listen, believe me, if you think it's uncomfortable sitting over there, you ought to be a private individual when the I.R.S. is across from you questioning. So I got to tell you, it's uncomfortable for everybody. But my question more specifically is, so how did Cincinnati get to where they are? How did they develop that strategy? And how did they know to go after these certain groups? How did they target those folks? That just...
Okay. You know, Blake, that gives me I'm just going to break it up because that's a question I've had. So where did the idea come from? What's your understanding of that one, Blake?
I'm still thinking about the one of the other parts in the very beginning where Obama claims that he learned about all this by reading the newspaper. Like this was all news, like it's all going on in the background, and he had no idea that it was going on until he, like pulled up the newspaper or turned on, whatever MSNBC or whatever he watches if he does. I think it's just ESPN, but side issue. The point is how stupid does he think we all are? That there's just, a bunch of rogue agents just trying to help his cause, and he had nothing to do with it and didn't even know what was going on. Well, of course, it would incriminate him, but, I'm really not buying the fact that the president learns anything by reading a newspaper. He's literally got the people, all the sources right there. He's got people that do that for him. So that's kind of a red flag in my book, but I'm sorry, we got sidetracked.
No, we got sidetracked, but into a good place, because I wanted to mention this, too. This is from, Newsbusters. Jon Stewart slams Obama claim that he learned about I.R.S. scandal last Friday. It's easy to tell that President Obama is going through a scandal-ridden, rough time since he's even under fire from Jon Stewart, host of The Daily Show on the Comedy Central cable channel, who said on Tuesday that the Democratic occupant of the White House can't keep saying you found out about news at the same time as us. The liberal comedian said he found it strange that the president didn't learn much sooner about the Internal Revenue Service persecuting groups with Tea Party or Patriot in their names, and the Justice Department confiscating phone records about Associated Press reporters. Stewart's first salvo, I love that word, salvo. Stewart's first salvo dealt with the, hang on, I would like to order a salvo, please. Excuse me, Marine. I would like to order a salvo. Okay. Stewart's first salvo dealt with the fact that during his press conference on Monday with David Cameron, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Obama restricted questions from the press to a limit of 1 total from the entire American press corps in attendance. However, Julie Pace, White House correspondent for the Associated Press, dodged that restriction by combining 4 queries into one long question. Along with the situation in Benghazi, Libya, and who came up with the talking points on that attack, Pace turned her attention to the scandal involving the I.R.S. and when he learned about it. Obama began his reply by discussing the problems regarding the I.R.S. Quote, I first learned about it from the same news reports that I think most people learned about this. I think it was on Friday. And this is pretty straightforward. Stewart mocked the mild manner Obama used in answering the question and pointed out that this is not the first time Obama has claimed to learn about news at the same time as everyone else. The liberal host pointed out that Obama said the same thing about Fast and Furious ATF gun running scandal, and when a low-flying plane freaked out everyone in New York City. Quote, I wouldn't be surprised if President Obama learned Osama bin Laden had been killed when he saw himself announce it on the television, Stewart joked. And I'll tell you what, that was hilarious. You know, you have those moments where you burst out loud watching TV, like when they showed the graphic of Obama watching a television with him announcing burst out loud laughing. Because that's the point. This isn't the first time he's tried making this excuse, Blake. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, and Jon Stewart just totally rocked it this week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he had just some phenomenal bits. Yeah, ending with a great one Wednesday. It was a two-parter almost. But, he really called out the administration and did a great job. So hats off to Jon Stewart. I've been kind of critical the last month or so, but it looks like the liberal media has come around here. So with all of these scandals breaking, it looks like they're finally have to get off of this bandwagon. And it would be for the greater good of all, I think. And I don't want to get too sidetracked into some of the other problems with this administration, but it's already looking like we've got pretty much a lame duck going into the next few years here. I think Obama has been so discredited now as a result of all these scandals. I don't know if he's going to get anything done. I mean, what's next? The horrible immigration thing or the implementation of Obamacare with the I.R.S.? I think it's time to, maybe to change the course here and, I don't know, maybe work towards a greater good beyond left and right. And for all of the Democrats out there, I think we should appease. And as also as Jon Stewart noted in his last Wednesday bit, was to he basically said the GOP was right, but he's excluding Donald Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney from the party. But and we just need to kind of keep a closer eye on the corruption, because this administration has gotten away with a lot, and the media wasn't doing their job. But I think finally they've kind of reached that point of this is getting too far. We can't continue to protect this guy, because he is absolutely out of control when you're wiretapping everybody and using the I.R.S. as a weapon, and then saying you get your news like everybody else does. I mean, you've lost us. So I hope this is the beginning of the end here for this administration.
Wait, but our president, he has a Nobel Peace Prize. He'd never use the IRS as a weapon against his political opponents. This is the Messiah, isn't it?
That is right.
Okay, back to Representative Mike Kelly grilling Stephen Miller, former or exiting IRS chief, upon Capitol Hill today.
A couple rookies just showed up, didn't really know what they were doing.
So again, I would point to the take the report on what happened.
No, I understand that. But I'm hearing these are low-level people that push the wrong button. Now, when Cincinnati can't figure out, who do they confer with? Who's their counsel? When they're looking at these entities, tax-exempt entities. Does it come back here to D.C.?
There's two possibilities.
Yes or no? Does it come back to D.C.?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So D.C. and Cincinnati will be pretty well connected in understanding what's going on. So this doesn't come as a great shock to anybody. In fact, I would say it doesn't come as a shock. You know what it does for the American people? It really establishes what they feared so often. I have a grandson who's afraid to get out of bed at night because he thinks there's somebody under the bed that's going to grab him. And I think most Americans feel that way about the IRS. I mean, you get a letter from you folks or a phone call, it's with terror that you look at it. And now this kind of reconfirms that, you know what? They can do almost anything they want to anybody they want, anytime they want. This is very chilling for the American people. Now, I know that where you're at, you're resigning, you're walking away from it. But this is not going to go away. This is a Pandora's box that has been opened, and I don't think we can get the lid back on it. And I don't believe that the White House just found out about this in the news report. The president happened to grab a TV shot or just read Mr. George's report and said, you know what, anybody heard about this before? I'm just getting the first look at this. Shouldn't somebody be responsible? And I'm thinking maybe the executive office, maybe Treasury falls in there. I'm not sure that we understand how that organizational chart works. But I am really concerned. Now, I got to tell you, where you're sitting, you should be outraged. But you're not. The American people should be outraged, and they are. And this committee, this has nothing to do with political parties. This has to do with highly targeted groups. This reconfirms everything that the American public believes. This is a huge blow to the faith and trust the American people have in their government. Is there any limit to the scope of where you folks can go? Is there anything at all? Is there any way that we could ask you, is there any question that you shouldn't have asked? My goodness, how much money do you have in your wallet? Who do you get emails from? Whose sign do you put up in your front yard? This is a tax question? And you don't think that's intimidating? It's sure as hell intimidating. And I don't know that I got any answers from you today. And I don't know that what Mr. George has done is great work. But you know what? There's a heck of a lot more that has to come out in this. And anybody to sit here today and listen to what you have to say, I am more concerned today than I was before. And the fact that you all can do just about anything you want to anybody, you know, you can put anybody out of business that you want anytime you want. And I got to tell you, you talked about you're a horribly run organization. If you're on the other side of the fence, you're not given that excuse. And when the IRS comes in, you're not allowed to be shoddy. You're not allowed to be run horribly. You're not allowed to make mistakes. You're not allowed to do one damn thing that doesn't come in compliance. If you do, you're held responsible right then. I just think the American people have seen what's going on right now in their government. This is absolutely an overreach, and this is an outrage for all America. I yield back.
All right. Mr. Griffin is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.
Right. The committee will come to order.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, that was historic. That was almost like very Hollywoodish in a way. In a movie or something.
Yeah.
Usually you don't get standing ovations for grilling somebody on Capitol Hill, but that was pretty cool.
Mr. Kelly goes to Washington. Okay. No, that was really good. I like that because you know what? God. There's some sentences I don't want to start, some sentences I don't want to finish. I think it's time for a commercial. Let's hit a quick hard reset here. We're going to do a little pivot, and we're going to shift over. Yeah, I really don't want to continue on that thread of thought. But I
understand.
No, I can't help it. I'm drifting back to it. When you point the IRS at somebody and say, sick 'em, that is an act of war. It's not just digging around. Like this is extreme political partisanship. Richard Nixon was removed from office in the 70s because of this stuff. Different. He was snooping, Fourth Amendment violating, trying to get inside of the political opponents' heads, trying to defeat political opponents. It's the Chicago way, Blake. This type of activity, you hear people clapping in the audience for a reason. It's because...
Wait, but Stonewall, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
No. You finish your thought, because I really don't want to finish my thought.
Well, yeah, because they've been dealing with this guy, playing stupid the entire time. As I say, I don't know if you got that other clip rolled up with the I.R.S. chief who can't remember who was responsible for the Tea Party targeting. But I mean, there's several Congress people that are basically kind of saying the same thing, like you're not cooperating, you're not answering the questions. And it's like you're under oath. I mean, at this point, who are you protecting? I mean, I guess if you knew this was all going on,
who do you think?
The road
Hold on.
led to the top.
Who do you think? Who do you think's being protected? Valerie Jarrett? No, seriously.
I don't even know exactly. I don't know much exactly what she does or what her thing is. I know she's
okay.
a big,
let's see
Obama
what
donor.
What? No. No.
Pfizer.
No. She is the president, so the president can't touch the things that are being presidented upon. She runs the White House. Valerie Jarrett. She came with him from Chicago. Does it go up to?
Right.
I mean, who told? The question I was going to ask there. Who first said that it was a YouTube video with Benghazi? And who first said target Tea Party groups? Just original questions. Trace it back. Who's the first person that said YouTube video? Who's the first person that said target Tea Party groups? Let's see. Department of Homeland Security. Wasn't that one of the big ones? That if you talk about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you're a returning war veteran, you might be a potential terrorist. Who does Department of Homeland Security work for, if not the very top of our administration? Our commander-in-chief supplies those orders. And Homeland Security with Janet Napolitano issued those statements. So the IRS was merely following line with what Homeland Security and Janet Napolitano were doing based on the orders given by the commander-in-chief. Oh, no, Obama didn't do it. He's the commander-in-chief. The buck goes up the hill, up the ladder, to the commander-in-chief. That guy would be responsible.
Yeah, with Benghazi, it does lead to the top, I suppose, because that's what I've been hearing, is that the only person that can issue a stand-down order would be the chief executive, as in President Obama.
Okay.
So, with the way these guys are stonewalling, and we've got some of these other issues, no one wants to give out answers. No one wants to... I don't know. Hopefully some whistleblowers come forward and say what's going on here. But because I don't know if we can get any straight answers out of Holder or Obama or Jay Carney, that's for sure.
Okay, then let's do that. Let's hit reset, pause for a brief station identification break here on the TNAM radio network. My name is Brian Engelman. You're listening to Agree to Disagree. Our guest is Blake, the eccentric Walley. You can find him on Twitter. He's at eccentric99. Follow him. You can sign up for his podcast. He's a radio host. He does shows called Eccentric Perspective every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday on freedomizerradio.com from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Sign up on iTunes. Just do a search for Eccentric Perspective, and you can stay in touch with him there and check out his homepage, eccentricperspective.com. Brief time out, and we'll be right back. Let's why don't you cue up an article, Blake, for the Associated Press story, because this is more Fourth Amendment illegal search and seizure intimidation tactics, the chilling effect that links right back to the First Amendment. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but if you say something, you're going to get targeted, and you're going to get snooped on, and you're going to get spied on, and you might now be an enemy. Oh, no, but freedom of the press is unfettered. Let's pick it up right there when we get back. My name's Brian Engelman. Thanks for listening. One moment.
You are listening to the New American Media.